All right, good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining our call with Marques Hagans. As always, please raise your hand and I'll unmute you. We'll start with Rich Scarcella.
Oh, I thought that was a high five. Sorry.
Hey, good morning, Marcus. Thank you for doing this. Thanks for your time.
Good morning.
Can you evaluate the passing game overall, the performance against Nevada? What did you see that you liked? What maybe you saw some things you didn't like?
Overall, the guys, you know, played well enough for us to win, which was the most important thing. A couple things internally that we got to clean up and get fixed. But I thought the guys came out, they competed, they played hard, and when the number was called, for the most part, we made the play. So, kind of, alluding to the assignments, we got the job taken care of that we needed to do to get the win, which is the ultimate goal, and now we're moving forward to the next one. So, yeah, I can say internally some couple of things to clean up, but I thought it was a positive day.
Tyler Donahue.
Hey Marcus, thanks for your time. Wanted to ask about Trevor Pena, kind of your game one assessment, getting that under his belt now with you guys. And we saw him as a punt returner. We saw him carry the football. We obviously saw him catch 7 passes. So how much does your staff view him as kind of a utility piece beyond the receiver position?
I mean, I think his value, kind of speaks for itself. And, game one is just a starting point. There's a lot of things that we got to continue to build from and get better at. But I think the more that he proves that he can do, the more opportunity we can use him. And that's with anybody. So I thought in game one, he had an opportunity to get back as a punt returner and, touch the ball in a different ways on offense. So just finding different ways to get guys the ball and let them be playmakers. So I thought it was a good start to game one.
Daniel Gallen.
Marcus, during practice, Kyron seems like someone who's really vocal, going back and forth with coaches, his teammates. What is it like coaching him on the field? And I guess what kind of leadership is that, or how does that come through with his approach?
I think he's got an innate ability to connect with his teammates and the coaches. He does a really good job of kind of setting the example and the tone in our room of just being on top of his details, knowing his assignments, and just showing up to work every day prepared as if he's a pro. So he's fun to be around, on and off the field. And I'm really grateful that we have him and the opportunity to be his coach. But he kind of leads by example, but he also does a really good job of staying connected with guys throughout the program.
Bob Flounders.
Hey Marcus, how you doing today?
I'm doing well in yourself.
I'm doing well. Marcus, of the transfer portal guys, wideouts that you added, Kyron came from USC, where the pretty sophisticated passing game. Trevor was a high volume guy, at Syracuse. I was just curious about if it was maybe a little bit more challenging with Devontae, even though he was very, very productive at Troy. The adjustment maybe he had to make going from the offense he played in to the offense that Andy and you guys run at Penn State. What was that like? And was it maybe a little bit more challenging than the other guys?
Not at all. I mean, I think he's very smart. He's picked up the offense since day one. We move all the guys around in different positions. So I think sometimes there probably can be a knock, coming from a lower level, maybe less resources per se, however you want to view it. But as far as football IQ, like there's been no question since day one. He's come in, he's learned it, and just at a high level as those guys have. So if you didn't have labels on them from what school they came from, you wouldn't know the difference with all three of them. They're all very smart. They've all picked it up. They love football, and it's been a joy. It's been a joy coaching all those guys. So, no setbacks, no nothing. Like he's done an amazing job. You like Duck Donuts over Krispy Kreme, and
Bob, you're muted. You gotta unmute him. He's got a good story for this. There he
No,
is.
I don't have a great story. Marcus, though, somebody I went to school with owns one, a Duck Donuts. So I have some privileges there. But it's like the difference between an A and a B plus donut. But I think Duck Donuts, they're like dessert donuts, a little bit different. But definitely that would be my pick.
all right, can I just ask one more question? I never get to ask this.
What's that?
If you had to rank Duck Donuts, Dunkin' Donuts, and Krispy Kreme, how would you rank them?
It's Duck, Crispy, and then Dunkin'.
Okay.
All right, what's yours?
Krispy Kreme, Duck Donuts, Dunkin' number three.
All right, I appreciate that.
I'm a big hot now sign. All right.
I think it's my turn now, I think. Am I good, Paul?
Yep, go ahead.
Okay, awesome. Bob, he buried the lead. The visor's actually signed. So he's
Oh,
not just, yeah, so he's burying the lead. Um, but I wanted to ask about Kobe Howard. He's a guy that we've heard a lot about throughout the preseason early on. Obviously, to get a guy to come in that quickly and look ready. What's impressed you about Kobe, and what do you think maybe the ceiling is kind of looking like for him right now?
Kobe's another guy in our room who adds to that culture of guys who loves football, is always around it, always in the building, loves to compete, just loves to play football. So comes from a good program. He's hit the ground running since he's gotten here, and I think that he's made some plays early in camp, and he's just growing to get consistent. So he'll continue to grow and develop. He's an exciting young player that we're excited about, which we have more of them. Kobe was just the one you asked about, but definitely excited for him. He's got to continue to keep growing and keep. Right now, as a freshman, the hardest thing to do is not just prove that you're a playmaker, but earn trust that you'll go in and do the right thing and know where to line up. So every rep counts, especially when chasing the opportunity to play for championships. So we just got to make sure that he earns the trust of knowing what to do and when to do it. And as that continues to grow, he'll have more opportunities as he earns them.
Joe Smeltzer.
Hey, Marcus, thanks for the time.
Absolutely.
So to keep the theme going on true freshman receivers, Lyric Samuel's another guy who's very promising, has a lot of potential, showed a lot in the blue-white game. What have you seen from him since the start of fall camp, and what's the biggest improvement you think he's made since he's started his college career?
I think one, he's gaining some weight, like that's been a huge bonus for him. But I think he's just starting to settle in and just really having the resources to just focus in on football and playing receiver. So I think that, he'll continue to grow, he'll continue to develop, and we're excited that we have him. And I think he's going to be a good player as well. He's another one who loves football, loves to compete, and is always, around the building. So we just got to keep growing those guys. They're young, they're the future of the program at receiver, but they still have a lot of growth and development that they have ahead of them. So we'll just keep growing and developing, and however that plays out, it'll play out.
Travis Johnson.
Hey, Marcus, curious to follow up on something that James said earlier, I guess in training camp. He said that the first 3 weeks of this season would be key to getting some of these new transfer receivers work to see where certain pieces fit. And I'm curious how much of that is based on what you guys have maybe done with new guys in the past or maybe haven't done, and how much do you need to see and what do you need to see to have a better sense for what they can do when it matters?
I think the main thing is just chemistry, just getting all those guys to play well together. And, like again, like this is that was their first game with Drew. So just getting that chemistry and that connection. It's one thing in practice, but it's also another thing to do it in a live game. So that'll just continue to build, just seeing like, what that chemistry looks like and, how well they play together in different personnels and different concepts. So just continuing to build that as the season goes. But you get a general idea after the first game, and now we just got to see after the second game where that goes. And each week it'll be its own, growth and development. But you kind of have a good idea after the first game.
Greg Pickle.
Hey, Coach, how are you?
I'm doing well in yourself. Thank you for asking.
I'm doing well. Thanks for your time. Just moving on to a redshirt freshman, Tyzer Denmark. What have you seen from him both during camp and then the game one, obviously, against Nevada?
I think the thing that I've seen with Tyseer is he's more excited and having fun playing football this year around. I think, coming in as a freshman, sometimes things are overwhelming. A lot of things you get adjusted and acclimated to. I think he's more settled now. He's got a better take on the offense, and I think his personality shows a lot when he's in practice. He's smiling, he's running around, connected to his teammates, but he's competitive as shit now. Like he loves football, he loves to compete, and really excited for him and his development and growth. I just think he's a guy that just really embodies like our room of just toughness, loving football, and just loving to compete. So I'm really excited for what his development has in store.
Mark Wogenrich.
Thanks.
Hey, Marcus, as always, thanks. Just on your donut rankings, I believe Duncan is a corporate partner at Penn State, so perhaps to rethink your rankings there. But
Oh, it was probably because the audio was a little bugged. I said in first, Krispy Kreme second, and then Duck. It was probably the stack, the connection.
Going back to something you said about Chiron, about him having an innate ability to connect with people. Where does that come from? How have you seen that kind of manifest in the time you've been together?
Just watch him throughout the building. Like it doesn't matter. Like if he's talking to someone in nutrition, if he's talking to someone in academics or coaches or players or whoever it is, like he just has a way to engage people and connect people. And like some people pass and by and have like like he's always engaging with people and he has an innate ability to connect his teammates. Like he's always talking to defensive guys, guys on special teams, the specialists. Like he just if you watch him, like he's just always moving around the team. And not a lot of people have that ability, but he does. And I bet if you went around and asked a lot of guys on the team, they would say the same thing as well. So as that when I say innate ability to connect a lot of people, he does a really good job of engaging people and bringing them, together. So that's why I said that.
Time for three more. Tyler Donahue.
Marcus, just circling back to the transfer receivers, I wanted to ask about Devontae Ross. James is on the record a couple times now mentioned that he was banged up at portions of the summer, limited for parts of preseason camp, and he expects him to be more involved as the season goes on and he gets healthier. So, what did you see Devontae be able to get out of that preseason camp, considering it was a little interrupted for him? And ultimately, when you look and progress a little bit further, are the traits that he brings to the field that you're most excited to see get involved a bit more with this passing attack?
Yeah, he was able to just stay connected to practice and participate in the capacity that he was able to. So a lot of mental reps, a lot of things that, could have passed him by didn't. We met more, watching film and making sure he was on top of his assignments. And, now he's going to hit the ground running. So Devontae is just one of those guys that you look at him in stature and you're like, oh, he's small, but he's another one who's tough. He competes, he loves football, and he's dynamic with the ball in his hand. So again, I think we have a really good group of guys assembled, and I'm excited because every day those guys show up, they work hard, they compete, they love football, and I think each day is its own battle, and as long as we focus on that, I think good things are in store for this group and this team. So I'm excited for that.
Daniel Gallen.
Thanks for your time again this morning, Marcus. When Matt Alton enrolled, we heard that he was, maybe a little bit more raw, more of an athlete in high school, did a lot of different things. What's the process like developing someone like that, and what are things that you look for on like a weekly basis of someone that is starting from that point?
Well, Matt's one of those guys who was the best player on his team. So he played a lot of different positions, quarterback, running back, receiver, linebacker, safety, you name it. He even lined up one play, he hiked it to himself and threw him to himself and caught a touchdown. And he's learning to just strictly be a receiver. And so his development's a little bit different because he never really had full time at the position in high school. Although he's a damn good football player, he's starting at the foundational like level of being a receiver. So just learning how to, be a receiver is a challenge within itself. So I think he's at the beginning part of building his foundation as a receiver. As those things start to develop and the game starts to slow down, you're going to see a hell of a receiver. So really excited about him. Again, I'm only answering questions with guys independently, but just the room. I'm just really excited for all the guys in the room. He has another bit of toughness and, just guys who love football and compete. So again, I think he has a bright future, but he's in the developmental stage of learning to become a receiver.
Last question, Mike Gross.
Hi, hi, Marcus. Thanks for doing this. I got in a little late, so maybe I missed it. But one of the things that stood out to me on Saturday was what willing blockers your guys seemed to be. That really popped, and it seems like that would be a hard thing to work on in practice for wide receivers. How do you develop that, and how do you go beyond? First of all, talk a little bit about their willingness to do it, and then how do you develop that?
We just hold them accountable when they don't. So we celebrate it in practice and we watch it on film. We point it out, we celebrate it. And when the guys don't block for their teammates, then we hold them accountable and there's accountability for it. There are guys on every play doing something to help us get open when we throw the ball. So when the ball is handed off or the ball is thrown on the perimeter to other guys, it is our responsibility to make sure our guy does not make the play. Does that always happen 100% of the time? No, but that is the intent. Every play, we're gonna do whatever's required on the perimeter for the guys to get to the second level. And guys take pride in that. That is a big part of who we are in our room. And it also carries over in special teams, whether we are blocking for punt return or kickoff return. Like we're gonna block our ass off. Like that's important to us. Like that's a priority. So again, we celebrate it, and when guys don't do it, we hold them accountable to make sure they know it's important. So hopefully that continues throughout the season because that's something that's important to us and it's going to help us win games.